This lesson here is just about creating one single if statement. Keep in mind that we do have to use the different mathematical comparers, greater than, less than, equal to, absolute equal to, not equal to, and we will demonstrate all of those in the next lesson. But for right now, what we're looking at is, if you see my comment here, all we want to see is if the number we enter is going to be greater than 10. So I'm going to take a moment here to set up the scanner first of all. Scanner keyboard equals new scanner. Remember, this is a pre-programmed piece that allows you within the output line to input information. So we have to make sure our user knows what we want. So system.println, enter a number, and then we're going to set up keyboard. We're going to have to set this up with an integer to receive it. So let's go ahead and declare our integer up here. We'll initialize it to equal 0. We're going to say that number equals keyboard dot next integer, because that's what we're looking for. Now, what we want to test with this is if this number is greater than 10. If it is, then we're going to output that's greater than 10. If not, then we're going to output that it is equal to or less than 10. We could go as far as to also have an if statement to do the equal as well. Setting up an if statement starts with the word if. Seems pretty basic. After we do the word if, we need the left parenthesis, and then we need to put in here what are we testing. And when we're testing something, we need to make sure that the structure allows us to see that it is equal or not. We'll go through some of the different comparisons here in a little bit. But for right now, we're going to go if number is greater than, remember, the alligator always eats the bigger piece. If it is greater than 10. So this goes within our parentheses here. Now, if we only have one piece of output, we do not need braces after, if we only have one line of code after. If we do, then we do need braces. In this case, we're going to just say system.out.println, your number is greater than 10. Cool. So this here, even though it would be the same if I put braces around it, containing it. If it was more than 2 lines after this piece of code, we would need those braces. On the AP test and in a lot of textbooks, you will see that when there's only 1 line of code, that's just meeting that criteria. Now, later on, we're getting into the else for every other scenario. But for right now, I'm just going to say if that didn't happen, well, if it does happen, then we're okay. That made no sense. Sorry about that. So here's what's happened. It's only going to show this message if the number is greater than 10. So we need another message that just says, thank you for playing. Later on, if we wanted to make it say equal to or less than 10, we would need some other if statements or if else statements. We're going to keep it simple. Thank you for playing. And let's go ahead and test it a few times here so you can see this in action. It's going to take a second to load. Enter a number. So first go ahead and enter a number greater than 10. Go ahead and do 12. And it tells us your number is greater than 10. Thank you for playing. Now, let's go up and run it. If we enter 10, thank you for playing. Our number was not greater than 10. We could go in there and add an equal sign later to make that valid. And then, of course, if we enter a number less than 10, thank you for playing. So, review this if statement structure because this is how this will work. Let me show you real briefly multiple lines of an if statement. We would just have to add a second line to make the braces accurate. And just say, you must be smart. Of course, no longer did I say that, then I forget to put a period in. So that's the basic structure behind an if statement. Sorry about the confusion there. Just know that as you saw through the runs, that statement right here, these will only print if our condition is true.